You're listening to Inside the Techosystem, a podcast bringing you fun and insightful topics about tech and its ecosystem in Nigeria. And it's me again, Emmanuel, and I'm joined by Chuka.
Hey people, welcome to another episode, and let me just say Happy New Year to everyone listening. Happy 2021. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode once again.
Yay! Who's excited? 2020 was a really tough year. Like, it's that year.
Yeah.
Like, everybody says that year, like, referring to the olden days. I feel like in the next 2 years, the only thing that we'll refer to as that year will be 2020. Like, that year.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah. I feel like we shouldn't even talk about 2020 at all. Like, when we're telling our kids stories, we should just keep it. So it goes 2017, 2018, 2019. Then we just skip 2020 and talk about something else.
I'm like, Dad, why did you skip 2020? You just say that year.
We never talk about 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, so jokes aside, 2020 was really a tough year, and obviously we can't really we can't downplay like the major events, like sad ones, and we obviously sympathize with everyone wherever you are. Like, everybody had a tough year, and we're just so happy that we were able to make it into 2021, and everybody is tougher, like pressure makes diamonds. So
Yeah.
congratulations to everyone who made it.
Yeah.
Like, 2021 is a good place to be. We're expecting to have a better year than the previous.
You can only expect hope, actually. So
Yeah. So in this episode, we're just going to do a roundup of what happened last year, both for Inside the Techosystem and the Techosystem itself.
Good.
So in 2020, what did we do, Chuka? And yeah, what did we do? Obviously, we started this podcast.
Yeah.
It was a big leap for us.
It was. I'm so glad we started this podcast, actually.
We talked a lot about how people can get into tech, and we talked about tech careers, talked about basically how to get people from, I want to join tech to becoming a tech person and, growing as a tech person. I would say that's how 2020 episodes turned out, hindsight now. We also released a newsletter. If you haven't subscribed, you're missing a lot. We write really touchy, really touchy newsletter emails, and you should subscribe. We'll obviously put the link in the show notes. So we sent our most recent updates and more personal stuff to listeners that have subscribed, so we don't want to miss out. So 2021, what do we expect for this year?
Okay, 2021 is really stacked for the podcast. I believe we should expect more Inside the Mind of episodes, more Inside the Mind of, like, from the Inside the Mind of series, more episodes about that, more sprint episodes, actually. We also have video content coming from us in 2021, which I think is really cool. Let's just let everybody know that we don't have a proper plan for this yet, but we're working on it, and we just want it to be a way to engage.
Reduce your voice.
We just want it to be a way to engage more with our listeners outside of just audio. So we're going to be doing more video stuff, and expect more surprise episodes and surprise series from the podcast, and more episodes in general. We can't wait to.
Yep. I can feel the excitement already.
Yeah, definitely.
You feel it?
Yeah, in my bones, man. It burns me so much. Oh my God, I'm screaming with excitement. Was that believable?
I don't think so. I don't think our listeners will buy that.
Oh, well, I'm excited, please.
Yeah, we're all excited, man. This year is going to be a great year. So aside from Inside the Techosystem, the podcast, what happened in the Techosystem? the techosphere, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, COVID-19 had a very big impact on the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Like from like February, we started feeling it, but the full effect came in March when the lockdown um was in full implementation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So from March down to almost like the whole year, everything was just different. So that caused more remote work. Like many more companies were forced into doing remote work, you know,
Yeah.
and a couple of other things that resulted from that. There was also a couple of companies that launched,
Yeah.
companies like Brass,
Yeah.
Abeg,
Yeah.
Abeg. Like I think Abeg probably had the most noise last year when they launched. Like everybody was just signing up and transferring money, you know. So
Yeah. Man, we need to really talk about what noise does for tech startups and companies that just launch, right? I
yeah,
mean,
it's
is it just about the
yeah,
noise or what's actually happening behind this and how do they handle fame? Right? So I feel like it's something we really need to discuss on this podcast one of these days.
yeah.
Yeah.
We hope to bring the founders of these companies
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let them give us their own perspective,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the biggest news last year was probably Paystack's exit.
Mm-hmm.
It caused this noise, and we had an episode about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that news deserved a whole episode.
Yeah,
So,
actually.
Paystack's exit was like the biggest event
Yeah.
in the techosphere,
Yeah.
ecosystem,
Yeah.
right? So, also, TalentQL, that's a company for recruiting software engineers, more like a pipeline, like Andela
Yeah.
started. It was started by former CEO and founder of TechPoint Africa
Yeah. And
and a couple of other people.
yeah,
And
Hacksultan
they've
too.
also raised funding. Yes, they raised funding. So expect a lot from them in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited about them because I really want to know what they can pull off. Yeah, because Hack Sultan, what is Sultan's real name? I'm not sure. I'm not going to keep referring to him
His
as
name is actually on Twitter, but I think he changes it a lot. So
yeah.
don't
Okay,
really know
can
who
I just say Hack Sultan for
or
the
what
sake of
the
this
name is.
episode? We'll find out later. But Hack
Yeah,
Sultan,
yeah, definitely.
it strikes me as someone that is a go getter. Like if he sets his mind on something, like he's just going to achieve it. And
He has started
mm,
a couple of companies, I think,
yeah, yeah.
Chef Careers, and a host of other communities too. So
Really
definitely,
impressive as well. So yeah.
lots. Yeah, yeah,
All right. And apart from that, I guess a couple of companies or in the tech ecosystem also raised funding. Mono, Kuda Bank, Cheaper Cash. And when I'm saying raise funding, it's not small money, especially if you are especially if you're a startup in the tech ecosystem in Nigeria. So that was really impressive, and we can't wait to see what they have in store for their users this year. Yeah, we're really excited about that.
yeah. Enyata also distributed MacBooks,
Ah,
right?
Enyata,
Yeah.
Enyata. I've been trying to call you guys for a couple of weeks now. I didn't get my MacBook. No problem, no problem, no problem. Man, but that was really awesome, guy. 50.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe this year there'll be more, Sha. There'll be more of this. I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm. Did you?
Ecodes Africa also launched a mentoring program
Mm-hmm.
for African women.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was in August.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think that was the first one actually, but She Codes Africa has been doing a lot of really awesome stuff recently. They're in a number of campuses, right? And they're just focused on getting women into tech, which is actually very plausible. It's actually a great feat, right? Because
Yeah,
let's be honest, this is a male dominated field, and having and encouraging more women to get into tech would actually be something really dope. And I keep telling Mario we have to have Kulukudes on this podcast. If we don't bring anybody again, if we don't have any other guests, we have to have Coloco Des on one of our episodes, please, in the future. And if Coloco Des is listening to this, please get ready. Inside the Techosystem needs you. So yeah, she's actually a really amazing person, and I really love what she's doing with the organization. Yeah.
So obviously, we may not have covered everything that happened in 2020. If you feel like there's some stuff that we left out, any company raising money, anybody doing any great stuff, you can let us know.
Yeah.
By sending us a DM on Twitter or Instagram, or send us a mail as insidethetechosystem@gmail.com. And for Twitter and Instagram at insidetechos. So let us know if there's anything we missed out. Just gonna add it to the show notes.
All right, I would really love you guys to engage more with us this year, because we love hearing from our listeners and we love engaging with them on every single platform. So in case you have any questions, or you'd like to see us talk about something happening in the Techosystem, a future episode, or a guest featured on the podcast, just let us know and we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. English. Okay, yeah.
So most of the things that we talked about, like the events that happened in 2020, we sourced most of them from Tech About, Benjamin, Dada Blog, TechCrunch, Quartz Africa. We're just going to link those blogs in the show notes in case you want to learn more about the Techosystem in writing, and maybe subscribe to their newsletter also.
Yeah.
So in the show notes, we're going to link that. So that's the end of the episode. We hope you guys loved it. We're looking forward to having a great year. 2021 is not going to be termed that year. It's because this year is going to be much better. And as much as you expect greatness from us, obviously we're expecting greatness from the Techosystem also. So looking forward to more stuff, more success, more funding, more companies, more startups, more success for the old Techosystem. And yep, that's it.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Remember, we release new episodes every other Wednesday, and you can subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. If you would love to connect with us, you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at insidetechos, or subscribe to our newsletter and shoot us an email at insidetechosystem@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners. You can follow the host on Twitter as well, Chuka at Siwadiogu. It's kind of a mouthful, so I'm just going to link that in the show notes, and Emmanuel at Olalua_98. All right, see you in the next one.